Hey guys, and welcome back to the return of the Super Metal Brothers here in 2020. I am Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dane.
We are back doing our reviews, and for today we have a doozy for you, Poppy's album, I Disagree. Now for those of you who don't know, we don't have a very strong relationship with Poppy. In fact, anyone who's seen our reaction videos will know our personal taste for particularly the first track off this album, Concrete. We have a reaction video to that, which we'll link below, but Danny, to sum it up for the people who haven't seen that video, what do we have to say about the track?
We're pretty much in awe, and we're pretty much upset about this being called metal.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a we might as well talk about it as the first track of the album. It's pretty much like a 3.5 minute track of pretty much any genre you can stick in there. There's no cohesion, there's no fluidity, there's no song structure. The lyrics and the singing is terrible. It was just a terrible, terrible song.
So we didn't like that track particularly. However, the metal community at large has generally gotten behind this album. They generally like Poppy, and Sumerian Records, the guys who got them on the label at the moment, particularly love them because they are making them quite a bit of money. And also to note that they are aware of the haters, they know they exist, and they don't think too much of them either. They're quite happy to have these guys on board, and if they'll make them money, what the hell matters what it does for
and give
the
credit,
industry.
Poppy came to a festival in Australia, I think it was the last year, this year, so and they know her down here as well, so she's getting following.
Absolutely. So let's go into the album straight off the very bat. This album here is everything that people love and hate about J-pop done with a
New metal, I
guess so. You know,
electronic,
it's the same thing.
dubstep, everything.
It's a metal style with a lot of other arrangements and other styles of music. Particularly in this case, pop music is generally the strongest other. I would consider this is more of a pop record, to be honest.
Yes.
With metal inklings. And the reason I say that is because track one, and I think there's another track later on called Sit and Stay, which has some trippy time sequences at the start, but Bite Your Teeth is the other track I was talking about before. So Bite Your Teeth and Concrete are those metal tracks, and the biggest pitfalls or the highest mountains that people will consider for Poppy, you know? It has everything from those sporadic changes to metal distortion lines with Cutie Pie style vocals over the top. Nothing I care for, and like everything I hated about Concrete comes up again in Bite Your Teeth, you know? It's an abandonment to conventional songwriting, and really something that's going to age pretty bad, I consider, but we'll talk about that a little more later on, Danny. Another thing is, there are very rare highlights of metal in this album that I consider to be, oh wow, I'm glad they put that there, aside from a guitar solo like in the last track instance for Don't Go Outside. But Danny, what are some of the metal influences here that got you going into it?
Yeah, you're right, there really isn't, apart from those two songs, Bite Your Teeth and Concrete, they're the only like metal-y songs, and it's the same song. It's the same structure, it's the same sporadic, incoherent mess that they put together. So you don't have to do the same song. And the problem, the second song, Bite Your Teeth, is better, but they even like a breakdown and heavy section, and she does the whole like, they even like one of those like metalcore like blah, like chucked in there as well. But then she does that whole like go, where people say go for a breakdown, but she says it not before the heavy fast section, but the slow doomy section. No, that's not how it works. Go is when you start a pit or a circle of death. It's not when you just want to go into a doomy section. So, and this is the problem. This album reeks of someone who doesn't understand metal and doesn't understand the culture or what it is. Even the cover up is her in death metal attire.
Black metal.
Black metal. Oh, and I look bad. But black metal attire. But it's nothing black metal about this album.
Nah.
There's no shit distortion. There's no shit production. There's no church organs playing like over dark, brooding area. There's that one doom with them. That's it. It's like a lot of this album, a lot of it comes across as someone who feels like they know metal, or they feel like they want to appropriate metal into their music because it's edgy and it's cool. And it just comes up insulting. For people who've listened to metal for 30 years, it comes across really inauthentic and disingenuous, and metal hates that. Apart from metal albums. They all love it. They all love, you can do what you want, fuck it.
Look, before we get into too much of the dark stuff, I do want to say that there was a track off this album which I genuinely enjoyed, which was Nothing I Need. I thought it was a fine track. I thought it was just a nice walk
Was
through
it metal?
Garden of Earthly Delights. It wasn't anything touching metal. It kept to a good song structure, even though it didn't go anywhere necessarily. It was a nice time, and for me, it was a reprieve from the rest of the album, which was pretty mundane in a sense. You know, with all, I know people would see that as a contradiction or something, or but it really does feel like that. Like, it really felt nice to have a break from just completely sporadic and really not well thought out and not well placed songwriting ideas. You know, it felt a little lazy in that sense, coming from musicians. You can tell off the bat are generally pretty decent. You know, the song structures, when they weren't trying to be too crazy, we're fine. You know, they can write a melody that works well. She sounds fine over pianos or acoustic guitars,
string sections.
or that synth wave kind of stuff that happens in songs like "Feel the Crown," for instance, before it tries to go all corn on you, or so Marlon Manson, I should say, because it actually even has that moving into those sections. So there are some things about the album which I understand people might enjoy, or can credit that she's not an incredibly bad singer. However, and the bad thing about this is everything else. And particularly, it really catapults from not only the first track, but like I said before, with Bite Your Teeth. Those two tracks are horrible, and they make me feel angry, but not for the right reasons, right? Like when I listen to Nile,
Old Man's Child,
or listen to Cryptopsy, or Meshuggah, or anything that's got a relatively good drive to it, you know, I ends up like Gojira as well. You know, I feel that energy rising against me, and I want to release it. And going to the gyms are one thing, or maybe punching a wall like a man would do. Not me, since I'd rather, you know, let someone else do that. I hire people to punch walls for me. But everything else on this album is an absolute chore to listen to. It is really, really just throwing shit against the wall, and they're just whatever sticks. I really felt this album must have taken at least all of probably an afternoon to write.
What it feels like, because it's like you're saying, the parts which aren't metal, the pop parts are fine.
They're fine.
The nice melodies, they flow well, and they look like that's what they come from writing. And what it feels like is that you have all these different songs which will have that nice pop section and chuck into a metal section to electronic section back to pop for no reason. If they like separate all those elements and put them in full songs, so that's a full metal song, a full electric song, a full pop song, it would probably work. But instead they're like cutting, pasting to creating these like Frankenstein monsters.
But it's not just that. And it really comes to the point where whether you like the lyrical, not only content, but the style itself. And that's where it all falls apart, because even if you somehow manage to get into the craziness with those metal tracks or the sereneness of some of the others, it all comes down to the lead singer. And I think here what we got with, her name is Poppy, is that she has this cutesy style of J-pop, which I absolutely hate. In fact, I gotta be honest, I can't stand J-pop as a genre at all. I know in 15 years from now, everyone's gonna look back and say how crap it was, just like we did with new metal. You know, back then we were all kids and we thought it was fantastic, but going back, we're like, wow, they played like 3 chords, you know? And now bands like Imure might get that onslaught in 10 years as well. But this year is the same, you know? It's really cutie pie lyrics and the juxtaposition lyrical content where you can hear her singing about happiness, like a happy tone, but it's kind of negative connotation lyrics. So like they're a little darker, like, she's probably burying someone, or she says don't go outside because probably there's serial killers out there, but it's over a cutie pie, so people think that that's like some sort of like, oh wow, that's so cool, you know? And maybe that's a little different, but the only problem is that you have to listen to 3 minutes to 6 minutes worth of tracks of just mind-numbing repetitiveness and inauthentic, self-indulgent songwriting. And for some reason, people seem to like it.
Yeah, but even the first, like going back to the song structures, the first 6 tracks all start the same. They all start with soft talking or singing over like a fill, and it goes into like a heavy sporadic section. That's the same song 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
You can't accept that on an album. It's only a 30-minute album, and you're repeating 6 songs. Like,
it was tough.
I'm finding hard that the only positive I can say is the pop part was a bit melodic. But the rest of the songs, they don't, and the whole album doesn't even go together. There's no overarching style or genre or feel or tone. It's just like anything which came to the head, we're putting it down. It's like when you get a rough bit of paper and you have to put like a story down, and you just put all your dot points. And that was it. It's like, okay, that's it. That's the rough draft and large draft. It's like the guy from Futurama.
That's right.
He only does like one take. Calculon, whatever his name is.
That's right.
This album. This album is Calculon of the music world.
Yeah, so it has a lot for people to get offended by, but for some reason they're not. It's a weird thing. It's a very strange position we're in right now, because we know how passionate the Poppy fans are, and if you like it, you know, kudos to you. We're just saying how our experience with it. In my experience, this is the worst album I think I've ever reviewed on this channel.
Yeah, there's that one amateur guy we reviewed.
Yeah, but I was so curious to hear him outdo himself in badness because you could tell everything was done in his home.
Yeah, he didn't have a record
the
label,
mixing
though.
levels were terrible and whatever.
Yeah.
So even though we've heard home-produced jobs on this channel and we've heard the shortcomings of that, this was worse because this had a budget. You could tell this had money behind it, and they were just kind of throwing it away to maybe hookers or to drugs or something in order to get more influence as to how to write those concrete songs. But I really must, yeah.
I was so surprised is track 10, the last one, which is called Don't Go Outside. It's a 6-minute song, which for stars, like, oh my gosh, 6 minutes, what is this going to be?
Yeah.
But to be fair,
A 2-minute song done 3 times, really.
That's pretty much what it is. It was, yeah. But what also happened, like they pretty much rip off like a Dream Theater Opeth riff, and that's
Yeah.
how they used to change to a minor, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then they pay homage to Dream Theater at the end by just like getting old parts of songs throughout the album and putting on.
Like they were like aware of how amazing the album was, and they just patted themselves on the back. How good was that concrete track? Oh, we'll just bring it up
Like
again.
Dream Theater Metropolis, don't worry about that.
And we're like, don't remind me. Like, I had to listen to that shit.
So technically it's not
I
even-
was there for that whole time.
It's
I
not even a
wanna hear
30-minute
it.
track. It's like a 28-minute track.
Oh,
I thought,
man.
Dream Theater can do it. Yeah, we're Dream Theater
Don't be
equivalent.
Dream
Let's do the
Theater.
same.
Don't be Dream Theater. Dream Theater do Dream Theater. Sometimes to their detriment as
Yeah,
well.
that's right, yeah.
But let's wrap the bow around this before we get too angry and go on a fit of rage and have to listen to something, some cleansing metal that's angry.
Hey, to be fair, it only get better this year.
Oh, absolutely.
we started
This is the
terrible.
worst album for me to listen to because I've never had to look at the counter so many times and skip into a song because I was so angry and so pissed off at myself that I was actually doing this and not listening to something I like. But we knew that we had to review some bad albums with some good albums because last year we were way too soft on some of the metal. We only listened to what we thought we were going to like or enjoy. And this year we start off with a doozy. So, Danny, final thoughts and give it your rating.
Yeah, so final thoughts, like you're saying, this is not a metal album
Nope.
because probably about 60% of the songs are either electronic or pop.
Yep.
So this is not metal.
Nope.
When they do metal, it's atrocious.
That's
it's
right.
a train wreck. It's
Yep.
like Crazy Train. Like, not the song Crazy Train, but it's literally like a crazy train. You're on
Yeah.
a board of ride where you don't know where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I'm giving it 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. I'm thinking the reason why is because I can't give it a complete 0.
Can't give it
because,
a 0. It's-
because
yeah.
there were sections that I didn't mind, and particularly that track I was saying before, which I thought was decent.
Yeah.
You know, I thought. Sorry, my apologies. I thought Nothing I Need was fine.
Yeah.
It was actually quite enjoyable. And when you head to the intros like Sit and Stay, which is kind of clever. You've got songs like
Some guitar
some
lines are nice.
intro to Down Go Outside was fine as well, you know. But from the lyrically incredibly bad ones, and nothing is more apparent to me like anything like me or the song Concrete or just name it. When the metal's on and she's talking or singing over the top, you really see how weak she is and how little she brings to that
And some of those
experience.
falsetto notes are very weak. I'd like to see if she can do them live, but they sound very produced.
Yeah, it
but
was-
again, that's,
Yeah.
you know. what
So
her
I'll
style-
give it a. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
fair.
absolutely hated myself listening to this album. I'd probably even think about giving it a 1 later on, maybe later this year. But knowing that I'll never listen to this album again is great, and I cannot wait to see our feed with the 2,000
hate.
dislikes.
Oh, mate.
And all I can say is fine. If there are 2,000 fans out there that religiously go behind
If
it,
someone can give
fine.
us a fair reason why, because last time we reviewed the reaction videos, and people say, "Oh, you guys don't really talk about it, you idiots, you're just angry bold guys."
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still haven't given us a reason why you like it. So if you can give us at least a reason why you like their songs, and not because they're different. Because if you like different, listen to like Jazz Fusion, because that's different. Or listen to
Yeah.
Dillinger Escape Plan, because that's different.
Yeah, listen to Icefish or something. You know,
Yeah.
Virgil Donati's new band, whatever. You know, if you want to hear awesome musicians playing
Being
stuff
different.
that being different, do listen to that.
Yeah, so if
You
that's
know?
if that's your reason for listening to this, I can't accept that because that's a really weak argument.
Yeah.
But if you have a fine argument like she touches you in your psychotic life, I don't know what it is. But
I get the only thing we're going to get is that I like because I like it. That argument, it's actually an incredibly weak argument. It means you can't articulate your
can't,
feelings
yeah.
about it. And aesthetically, she's pleasing because she's a little cute. And you can't do it against it. Maybe it's the same with J-pop. You can't rip on short Asian preteen girls because it looks unethical. Like, you know, you're shitting
Yeah,
on
give it a
someone who's
go.
just deciding if they're going through puberty or not. But you can because you know that's what the internet's for. So yeah, this album sucks and don't listen to it.
And in the words of Poppy, which by the way is an adult. These words are written by an adult,
Not a teen.
not a teen,
Not that it's
not
not
a
an
5-year-old.
excuse from being a 13-year-old from Japan, isolated.
English is her first language.
That's
You're
right.
right, Matt. You're correct. This is what word for word, verbatim. Bury me 6 foot deep, cover me in concrete, turn me into a street. Woe, woe. And as
That's
an
not even the worst
engineer, A road is not 6 foot deep. So please don't. Now you're insulting engineers
That's right.
and diseducating people.
That's
so
right.
please stop this.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of Poppy? I'm sure you guys loved it as much as us. Leave a comment if you like. I'm sure you will. And in the meantime, catch us in the next episode. Until then, I am Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Mega Brother Dane.
Enjoy yourself, guys.